Under the lights of Singapore, power was already shifting, quietly, invisibly. No announcement, no headlines, just silence. The kind that comes before an empire changes hands. Flavio Briatore broke that silence. "Next year," he said, "everything will change." Most dismissed it as typical Briatore bravado. But those who've been watching the paddock closely, from Ferrari's divided garage to McLaren's courtroom, know that his words weren't random, they were a signal. Across the sport, forces are moving, contracts are breaking, engineers are crossing borders, leaders are falling, and in the middle of it all, Lewis Hamilton stands still, calm, patient, reading the board like a grandmaster. Because in Formula One, power never announces itself. It leaks, it whispers, it hides inside press releases and legal battles. And what's happening right now isn't just about next year's cars, it's about who will own the next era. When Flavio Briatore speaks, the paddock listens, even if it pretends not to. He's the kind of figure who's seen the sport's ugliest wars from the inside. And when he says, "Next year, everything will change," it isn't optimism, it's intel. Briatore knows something that few will admit out loud. The old order inside Ferrari is cracking. The car might not show it yet, but the hierarchy already does. What he's predicting is not a miracle in performance, it's a shift in control. For months, Hamilton has played the long game, adapting, absorbing, learning how Ferrari breathes. The engineers still whisper Leclerc's name, the fans still chant tradition, but the numbers tell another story. Hamilton's data feedback has become the foundation of next year's SF26 development cycle. Briatore's prophecy isn't about speed, it's about leadership, about the moment a 7-time world champion stops adapting and starts commanding. And that's what terrifies Maranello's old guard, because once Hamilton leads, Ferrari changes forever. While Briatore's words echoed through the paddock, another kind of battle was unfolding, not on the track, but in court. McLaren versus Alex Palou, a $20 million lawsuit over broken promises, deleted messages, and shattered trust. Zach Brown, under oath, accused of destroying evidence. A CEO defending a moral crusade, or hiding one. To most, it's an IndyCar story, but to those who understand Formula One's inner machinery, it's something else, a mirror. Because this isn't just about Palou's contract, it's about the power to control a driver's future, to own his choices, his loyalty, his silence. Exactly the kind of invisible power that defines Ferrari's internal politics today. Every deleted message, every confidential clause, every team order that never reaches the radio, they all belong to the same ecosystem, where control is currency and reputation is weaponized. McLaren fights its war in the courtroom, Ferrari fights its own in the garage. And Hamilton? He's the one driver who's learned to win without trusting anyone. Inside Ferrari, silence has become strategy. There are no explosions, no public confrontations, just long looks, quiet meetings, and a driver who has stopped asking for permission. Hamilton came to Maranello knowing that power here doesn't move through words, but through loyalty. And loyalty in Ferrari has always been selective. Leclerc inherited it, Vasseur protects it, Adami enforces it. But Hamilton, he's rewriting it. The radio might sound calm, but the telemetry doesn't lie. Hamilton's feedback is now steering the team's development direction. His setup notes are being prioritized over Leclerc's. Engineers who once whispered doubts now quote his data as a reference. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the command structure is tilting his way. Ferrari promised unity, but every week, unity looks more like surrender. Because when Hamilton stays silent, people start talking. When he smiles, hierarchies tremble. He doesn't need to lead the rebellion out loud. He just needs to keep driving and let Ferrari reveal who's truly in control. While Ferrari's internal lines blur, new alliances are forming beyond Maranello's walls. Christian Horner may be in the shadows now, but his name keeps resurfacing, whispered in meetings, attached to rumors that stretch from Milton Keynes to Grove. James Vowles of Williams hasn't closed the door. Future conversations, he said, a sentence so ordinary, yet in Formula One, even politeness can sound like a warning. Meanwhile, Valtteri Bottas, the man who once helped shape Hamilton's era at Mercedes, is quietly preparing Cadillac's F1 entry. An American team, a new engine, a new alignment of power, and Mercedes, strangely, is helping. It all feels disconnected until you look closer, because these aren't random moves, they're pieces on the same board. Horner's silence, Bottas' migration, Ferrari's fractures. Each one is part of a restructuring of influence, a slow-motion earthquake that will redefine who controls Formula One when the 2026 regulations arrive. And at the center of this coming storm, one figure remains motionless: Hamilton, the constant around which the chaos orbits. By 2026, Formula One will not look the same. New engines, new alliances, new rules that promise balance. Yet behind those promises lies the oldest truth in racing. Power never disappears, it just changes hands. Flavio Briatore's "everything will change" wasn't about hope, it was about succession. He's seen this cycle before. The empire collapses, the opportunists rise, and amid the chaos, one man turns silence into leverage. Hamilton has been preparing for this reset long before he wore red. He studies people, not politics. He knows when to listen, when to wait, and when to strike. While others scramble for contracts and headlines, he builds something slower: trust where there was suspicion, loyalty where there was fear. When 2026 arrives, Ferrari will not just need a faster car, it will need a leader. And the old guard, the engineers, even Vasseur himself, they'll realize that leadership was already sitting in the cockpit months before they noticed. This isn't a comeback story, it's a coronation waiting for its signal, and the rest of the paddock, McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, are beginning to sense it. The signs are everywhere now, small, almost invisible shifts that only those who watch closely can feel. The tone on Ferrari's radio, the engineers who linger longer in Hamilton's garage, the brief moments when Leclerc looks unsure, searching for answers that used to come easily. Power doesn't announce itself with noise, it moves quietly, like gravity. Unseen but impossible to resist. And as 2026 draws closer, Formula One is beginning to orbit around a new center. Briatore called it, Horner senses it. Even Mercedes, with its cautious smiles and half statements, knows that the balance of influence is about to change. Ferrari's civil war is no longer internal. It's the first phase of a larger restructuring of Formula One itself. And Hamilton, calm behind the wheel, isn't fighting to survive it, he's designing it. Because in the end, power in F1 doesn't belong to those who shout the loudest, but to those who know when to wait. The storm is forming, and the silence before it is deafening. Every race now feels heavier, every radio call a test of loyalty, every rumor another crack in the old empire. Briatore's prophecy wasn't fantasy, it was a countdown. And when the lights go out in 2026, Formula One won't just begin a new era, it will reveal who truly shaped it. So, what do you believe? Is Hamilton quietly building the foundation of Ferrari's rebirth, or are we watching the final act of an empire that refused to change? If you stand with the architect of that future, drop a comment below. #StandWithLewis. And remember, the next race won't just decide points, it will decide who writes history. Subscribe and stay with us, because the war for Formula One's new order has already begun.